Yeah. What's good, people? Big Rich here, Big Rich live on the mic radio show here on YouTube 2017. We back again, bigger and better in the building. Trying to chop up game with the family and do what we need to do. Make it do what it do, the best that we possibly can. I sure appreciate everybody with your patience and your understanding, knowing that we were moving, had to get the new studio up, everything is rolling, getting there. I'm not there yet, but we getting there. As you can see, the background and stuff is totally different. I know I keep promising, but I will. I'm telling you, I will do a full review with the camera on the new equipment, the new area and stuff like that. I'm so happy. I'm so pumped of the new surroundings. Love it. Definitely love it. So again, welcome back to the Big Rich Live on the Mic show here on YouTube. First installment. I even forgot. I think we at 37, 36, something like that. Shows overall. We started last year. 2017 is going to be the bomb for the entire channel. Those who've been sort of keeping up with the channel understand that we had added another show last year, like 2 months ago, called What's the Real Deal? And it should be up now as you are looking at this particular episode of the Big Rich Live show, and you should know that the format is changed for the entire process of that particular show. We're gonna chop up game, we're gonna hurt a little feelings, we're gonna piss some people off and stuff like that, but that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the truth hurts sometimes. And we also, anybody who's watched the channel last week also know that I finally capitulated to some of you guys' wishes, and we have a new movie review show that comes on Monday. So the lineup for the 4 shows, or really the 3 shows, is actually 3 shows, but it's on 4 days. So the Big Rich Live show, the flagship show, will always be on Wednesday and Saturdays. The movie review show will be on Monday nights, from between the afternoon and the evening time, and the What's the Real Deal will be on Friday night. We'll chop up game, get you pissed off, get you ready to go out and do what you need to do in the weekend, so Monday morning you can start out fresh and clear. So the Big Rich Live on the Mic show is pretty much the same flagship show. We start off with our contact information. Remember, Twitter is capital B, capital R, Live on the Mic. Instagram, Big Rich Live on the Mic, _ between each word. Email address is Big Rich Live, or address is Big Rich Live on the Mic @gmail.com, or Dark Shadow Media Group @gmail.com. Websites is Big Rich Live on the Mic.com, darkshadowmediagroup.com. Okay, and I will be doing Twitter eventually for the other 2 shows, and emails and all that type of stuff. We just really haven't made it yet. We trying to make it do what it do, but it's one day at a time, and we'll get it together. But I appreciate everybody returning to the show. I appreciate all the well wishes and the concerned tweets that were sent to me, the direct messages via Instagram asking me if everything was okay. Was I coming back this, that, and third? Well, I'm back. I know I said this, in November and stuff like that. But again, we wasn't really ready. Well, we ready now. Everything. We got our new computers. We got our new mics. We got our new mixer. We got our new lights. We got a new studio. We got a new attitude. We doing it big here at the show. So we're first going to talk about the inauguration, if that's what you want to call it. It seemed to me like a complete funeral the whole day. Now, I digress. I must put it out. I didn't watch not one scintilla of the inauguration, but because I'm locked in on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, on our Facebook pages. That's another thing I didn't say. Remember, we have a Facebook page for this show, Big Rich Live on the Mic. So that's www.facebook.com/Big Rich Live on the Mic. And you can join that Facebook page to join the conversation, leave comments and questions and stuff like that for me to answer on this show. This will be the show that we'll be answering questions. We're not going to answer questions today. I'm just going to go into a couple of topics that I have. But from now on, like the Wednesday show, the Hump Day show, we'll be answering a lot of your questions. I have a whole lot of really good questions, and I want to do my research and make sure everything is copacetic before I drop the knowledge and my opinions. So we're going to talk about what they call the inauguration yesterday. Like I said, I've been told that it was basically seemed like an all-day funeral. I mean, somebody sent me a picture on Instagram and I had to retweet it and put it on my Instagram comparing the 2009 inauguration of President Barack Obama to this one of President Donald Trump. And what sort of killed me was this stark difference. I mean, you had 1.8 estimated 1.8 million people for the inauguration in 2009. They had about 250,000. And I think they said that is like on the high end. I mean, if you look at the pictures compared, it was no way, shape, or form. And the wild thing is, in 2013, the second inauguration, he lost 800,000. He still had a million people. Okay. So that basically tells you that. And then, you know, I've been hearing a lot of feedback, backlash coming from the Trump supporters saying, oh, well, it was cold and the majority of people of his followers worked, so they couldn't get off work. Well, it was cold. It was extremely cold. It was like 28 degrees on the high end in 2009, and you had 1.8 million people. The fact of the matter is, Donald Trump didn't win the popular vote, and the people who voted for him, most of them were there. You know, I mean, it was what it was, and the people who who voted for him, who wasn't there, a lot of them unfortunately couldn't afford to, you know, to make that trip and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. But you just look at it with just lack of people, you know, a lack of interest of this sham, you know, in a lot of people's minds, you know, they feel that this was just a sham. This was a referendum on hate and not in love and understanding and togetherness. This election, even though you want to say is legitimate, you know, I mean, you have to respect the process, even though the process is bullshit. But, you know, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of mad people. There are, and the majority of the country is mad, but it's a stretch of madness. You know, I talk to people all the time on Twitter and via email and stuff like that, you know, Messenger. You know, a lot of people are pissed off, but it's their pissed offness, that's not really a word, is like twofold. You know, they're angry with Donald Trump and the evil that him and his people of his ilk, his campaign has let loose on this country is horrible, is unforgivable. And not that he gives a damn, and I really don't give a damn that he don't give a damn. But like D.L. Hughley said, I will never forgive him, never, for what he has unleashed on this country. But the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of people that are pissed off at the Democrats also, because they feel, you know, you have your Bernie Sanders wing. I, for one, feel that Bernie Sanders would have won in a landslide. You know, it would have been the equivalent of the way Barack Obama destroyed John McCain and Sarah Palin. I believe that would have happened should Bernie, and everybody who knows me, everybody who listens to my show know that I am not a Bernie Sanders fan. You know, he lost me when he not denounced, but when he said he didn't believe in reparations for African Americans. Well, sir, last time I checked, you're a Jewish American, and Jews who've gotten reparations from the United States. The United States had nothing to do with the Holocaust. The Holocaust happened in Germany. You see the hypocrisy there. So when he said that, he lost me. But I still would have rather had him than Trump. Period. I would have rather had O'Malley. What is her name? I forgot her name. She ran also in the ticket. She ran as an independent. I'd have damn near anybody. You know what I'm saying? Than him. But that's what we got. 4 years of this, and we have to see how it works. We already see that it's screwing up because they just posted a picture on Instagram this morning showing this fool, Mr. Orange President, signing an executive order to get rid of Obamacare. Okay, you want to get rid of Obamacare because you don't particularly like the name. Okay, what are you going to replace it with? And I'm being told that the executive order is to abolish Obamacare and they have nothing to put in front of it. Let me tell you something, people. This is what really pisses me off. And when I've said this before, when they have that analogy about the devil, the biggest scam that he ever put forth was to make people think that he wasn't alive, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I'm paraphrasing. But the fact of the matter is, this is what the Republicans, Donald Trump, and the Republicans have done to their base. They have snowed them so much that they have voted against their own interests. You know how many Republicans, starch Republicans, who have certain parts of Obamacare? Do you know that by getting rid of Obamacare with nothing to replace it is what amounts to treason? But you fools voted for him because you did not like Obama. You did not, let's just be real, you did not like a black man in the White House. You put Trump up there, and now the Republicans own or run pretty much all three branches because they're going to put a Republican Supreme Court justice in there. So all three branches of federal government, most of local and state governments, and you're going to see how this country is going to go in the hell of a handbags. What a hell and to hell in a handbasket. My bad. And there's going to be a lot of people that suffer. A lot of people, African Americans and black and brown people and minorities will suffer, yes. But I'm talking about a lot of poor white people will suffer for this. And they have no idea. They have no idea what evil they done let or set upon this country. You have voted against your own best interest. People have been doing, but see, when they came up with the Southern Strategy, when Nixon and the Southern Dixiecrats and stuff like that, after the Civil War, and then again after the Civil Rights Act and all of that, and the Voting Rights Acts were put in, ever since that whole situation was developed, they have gotten the majority of poor and undereducated Caucasian people to vote against their own best interests to better them. So what kills me is you have Donald Trump, who's a billionaire. You have Paul Ryan, who's the Speaker of the House. You have Mitch McConnell, who is the majority leader in the Senate. All three of them are wealthy. They're powerful. They have health insurance for themselves and all their family. Two of them have health insurance off of your dime, my dime, taxpayers. These are the same people who are now going to abolish Obamacare without replacing it with a damn thing. And you have all of these people let's go back, who never really had insurance. And then for the last 4 5 years, they've had insurance. It's not the best. It's not a single payer, but they've had the best. I mean, they had the best that they've had in their lives. And now they're going back to nothing again. That's your fault. Everybody who voted against reason, everybody who voted for Republicans, especially Mr. orange hair, orange face, and yellow hair, whatever the hell he got. It's your fault. It's your fault. And it's going to slowly capitulate. I sit around there and I was like, to the grace of God, I've always had health insurance. Always. When I was growing up, my mom was a registered nurse. She was always a supervisor in management, so we had insurance. When I graduated, I went into the military for 6 years. I had insurance. For the last 23 years, I was with the Orlando Police Department. I had insurance. I'm retired. I have insurance until I die. So I've never been in the position to do that. But my lady, she's self-employed. She owns her own business. She has to have insurance. Because I am retired, she can no longer be on my insurance. So she has to have insurance. So it does affect me in some type of way. And my thing is, okay, everybody wants something to have their name on it. And if I had a bitter feud with somebody and I won, and there's a piece of legislation that I can either rename or replace with something the same, even if it's the same and you want to call it Mr. Orange Man, that's fine. But to abolish it and replace it with nothing is treasonous. And nobody will sit up there and say a damn word about it. Nobody. Nobody. And that's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Because so many people will get pushed off of Obamacare and will not have a legitimate way of having health insurance. It's amazing. It's amazing. And let me tell you something. When I was talking about coons and traders and stuff, when I was talking about the first installment of The Real Deal, which I hope you go see. I hope you go see. Subscribe, share, and like if you like it. If you don't like it, put the thumbs down. It's cool, but if you're going to put the thumbs down, put a reason why. So if it's a legitimate reason, I can try to address that and make the shows better. But when I was talking about that, I wonder how many of what in the meeting with Jim Brown, Ray Lewis, Martin III, Steve Harvey, did that even come up about Obamacare? And if it did, what was the promise? What was the promise? Because you would hope you're trying to give people a benefit of the doubt. I would doubt if he said to Martin III or he said to Steve Harvey or Jim Brown, hey, well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sign an executive order to get rid of Obamacare, that they would have been Yassabos and stepping fetchits. I would like to doubt that they did that, but then again, I wouldn't put nothing past them clowns. But this is the first thing he does. The first thing he does. What do you do? So enough of President Orange Face. Let's go to President Obama's legacy. I voted for President Obama twice. I'm going to admit, if he could have ran again, I would have voted for him again because he was better than any other candidate that was there. Period. Maybe I think Elizabeth Warren, I felt, and I still feel that had Elizabeth Warren had a ran, she'd have won also. She would have been the first female president. Something was happening that she didn't want to run. I mean, she was staunchly against not running. So it makes you wonder, if not that she was threatened, but maybe if it was like, look, just go ahead and stand down. This is Hillary's time. We're going to get Hillary rolling, and then, maybe she could put you in her cabinet or this, that, and the third. You feel me? But we talk about his legacy and the fact that I would have voted for him again, but I am highly disappointed in his presidency. And I am not the only one. And it has nothing to do with the racists and bigots and the color of his skin and all that type of bullshit. No, it was nothing like that. It was that he did absolutely nothing to better life for African Americans. And it's funny. I get, even when I'm on Twitter or anything like that, or I'm talking in conferences and stuff like that, the first thing you get, well, he wasn't a black president. He was a president for the United States. Yes, he was. But during his presidency of the United States, he did significant things for Latin people, significant things for Jewish people, i.e., Israel, significant things for gays and lesbian people. Absolutely nothing. Nothing for African American people. And based on statistics and the way life has been for the last 400 years, African American people need the most and actually deserve the most. And that is what we will talk about. We talk about reparations. That's going to be on the Real Deal Show Friday. Be there. Friday night. Be there. But we'll talk about that at the end. Absolutely nothing. And not only did he not do anything for African American people, things got actually worse. Now I know you have your Angela Rye from CNN and Reverend Al Sharpton from MSNBC sit up there and said, no, statistics show that didn't actually happen. Really? What statistics are you looking at? Because even though everything has come down, unemployment rate, all of that type of stuff, crime, all of that has come down. It's still as high as a giraffe head for African Americans and other black and brown and minority people. So you in a position, now you think about it, and I tell people this here, for the first 2 years of his presidency, the Democrats had for the first 2 years of his presidency, the Democrats had a supermajority in the Senate. They had the House of Representatives because Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House, and they owned the presidency. For 2 years, they could have done anything they wanted, and the Republicans could not do squat. In 2 years, they didn't do dick. President Obama wants to sit up there and he wants to run on this, I'm going to unite the parties, this, that, and the third. When Mitch McConnell, at that time was the Senate minority leader, said that he was going to spend the next 4 years to make sure that President Obama was not reelected, that's when you know I can't fool with these people. These people are not going to work. So I need to get the legislation and stuff that I need to get through now. When we have a supermajority where they can't filibuster or veto or anything like that, let me get everything locked in, and then we'll go from there. We'll make sure that we put the quote unquote progressive agenda up, get minimum wage, mandatory minimum wage in a federal level done, universal health care done, universal background checks for firearms done. We get all of that done in the first 2 years. So if we do happen to lose the House first and then maybe the Senate or something like that, we got everything locked in. They did nothing. So to me, President Obama's legacy is a mixed bag. It's going to be a mixed bag. You know what I'm saying? It will be a mixed bag. He went through 8 years without crazy scandals, no Iran-Contra, no Monica Lewinsky, no wars that were based on lies, none of that. None of that. He won both elections, running away, no marital problems, no NSA leaked tapes showing that he was, selling arms and none of that. So for 8 years, we've had a president that was very dignified, and I commend him for that. I really do. But as far as substance, there was none. Not for us. So basically, what happens? I just finished saying in the first segment that the first thing Trump did and the Republicans did is sign an executive order to repeal Obamacare. So basically, your standing foundational legacy, poof, gone. Gone. So basically, what have you done in 8 years? What have you done in 8 years? Every time. Okay, before I say that, what I would say is I don't totally blame Barack Obama, because I also believe that he was kind of a puppet. And what I mean by that is every time, if you notice, he stood up and said something when it had something to do with race, he would get shot down. His buddy, Skip Gates. Okay, Henry Louis Gates. Fantastic professor in Georgetown, lives in Georgetown in Virginia. Um, not only a tenured professor, but brilliant orator, filmmaker, documentary. He has his documentaries that are on PBS and stuff like that. Great scholar. He was the one, if you think about the name, he was the one who had went into his house, left the door open, I guess to turn the alarm off or whatever. Cop comes in and arrests him in his own house. That night, Barack Obama, let me back up. President Obama got on the podium and basically called what the officer did, not the officer, but what the officer did, stupid, which is true. It's true. It was stupid. Backlash, everybody oop-de-woo, this, that, and the third, probably calling him back there, scolding him, spanked him on the hand. Then he comes out and he wants to have beer with him, the cop, Skip Gates, and the Vice President Biden on the lawn having beers. What the hell I want to have beer with somebody who did some stupid stuff like that to me? That was the first sign that we didn't have a champion in there. We didn't have a champion there. Now let me put this out. I was never one to think that, or even want, President Obama to be a president for Black America only. No, I didn't. But I also remember something that Richard Pryor, God rest his soul, said in the 70s when people was asking, it was an interview when he was being asked about the things that he do for the African American community, as far as opening up businesses and keeping Black writers employed and all that type of stuff. And what he said to me, what he said, not to me, but to me, meant the world. When he said, hey, if I don't help my people out, who going to? So my thing is, President Barack Obama should have did a whole hell of a lot more to make sure that African Americans got the step up that they needed. He should have pushed reparations from day one. Day one. And like I said, that's going to be the show. So to sit around and have, to think that you have a champion. And I was talking about reparation. I was like, remember, Friday's show, Real Deal. We'll be talking about that, be breaking it down. But you just didn't have any type of champion. So you need to make sure, that you are not being messed up. Even Obamacare, they had to go out of their way to explain that Obamacare was not for Black people. It would help the majority of poor white people. Just to get it passed. Ridiculous. If you have a situation where you have the supermajority and you running all three, or really two of the three branches of government, what the hell do you have to make that distinction for? So I was very disappointed, very, very disappointed. But I tell you what, I still love this man. I do. I love his grace. I love his intelligence. It's a mixed bag. I have a mixed bag. I don't hate him. I know there's a lot of my colleagues that do. They think that he's a wetsuit. They think that he's a turncoat, a traitor, a sellout, a puppet. I have my issues with some of the things that he did, but to me, he was an elegant, strong, intelligent man who did right visually by us. And then I'll just leave it at that. Last thing before we go, because we're not going to have a really, really long show, and I got to call my daughter back. We're going to go over just real briefly, the new show formats. We changed the Real Deal formats. You remember it started out a couple of months ago. We did like a how-to. We did eBay. We did Amazon Prime, that type of stuff right there. I got a lot of feedback that everybody's doing that. They wanted to really hit it and be in depth about certain things. So I was like, you know what? Okay, let me go. That's what the title of the show. What's the real deal? So the real deal has totally changed. It will be a hard hitting, sometimes controversial, get your feelings hurt if you are weak minded, closed minded, and just a punk. Sorry. But we will get in depth and in detail on one subject and run the whole 45 minutes to an hour on that subject. So, like yesterday's show, which unfortunately came up today, that was about Traders Coons, Uncle Tom, Stevens, Django, that type of stuff right there. Next Friday will be about reparations, and then we'll keep going on and on and on. We'll talk about gay and lesbian rights. We'll talk about racial discourse. We'll talk about animus between the races and the sexes. We'll talk about family makeup. We'll talk about infidel, all of that type of stuff. But it will be just one subject, and we'll go hard. We'll go hard into it. Like I said, put your big boy pants on. Ladies, cross your legs and woman up, because we not pulling no punches. And if you're weak minded, if you're closed minded, weak willed, you're gonna get your feelings hurt. So it is what it is. The movie review. I've noticed a lot of people were asking me about my opinions on movies, because I go to the movies all the time. I mean, I have like 8,000 movies of different, got my little porn. But my animes, my animations, my manga, comedy, all of that. I got about 8,000 movies. I'm talking about from silent movies from the 1920s, 1930s, all the way to new movies. I watch movies a lot. So they were asking, hey, what did you think about giving your take on the movies? Because some of the movies that we want reviews on, people in the mainstream don't do them, or they're looking at it from their point of view, their upbringing, and we need somebody who actually either brought up or think like us. So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. So the first one we did came out last Tuesday, and we did Sleepless with Jamie Foxx. This Monday we're going to do Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington, and then I think the week after that we're going to do Hidden Figures with with Taraji P. Henderson. So we'll be doing that then and chopping up game and having some fun. But this will be the end of this show. I will see you Wednesday for the Hump Day show. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed, stay woke, stay focused. Peace, and I'm out.